Welcome back, everybody. Dave, ABQ, SCNC. We are back with another edition of the low budget, low tech NBA, baby. No, NFL Power Rankings brought to you by the world famous Gizmo. We are going into week 15. Gizmo's been working hard on these power rankings all year. We are bringing them to you right now. Bottom half of the league. Oh my goodness, I can't believe it. Gizmo kept the Giants at 32. Number 32 staying in the same spot, the New York Giants. Gizmo says, Jones injury. Eli is back and hopefully he can pull out a victory. But with this defense, yeah, he must have wrote this before the game because Giants had the lead. Giants gave up the lead. Unfortunately, Eli's return looked like it was going to be the saving grace for the Giants, and it was back to business as usual as that defense could not hold anybody in the fourth quarter and the end of the third, and the offense sputtered in the second half. So, lots of holes to fix in the offseason for these guys. Number 31, the Cincinnati Bengals, Johnny Waldeck's Bengals, staying in the same spot. Gizmo says they could not find a way to beat the Browns by missing key opportunities. Story of the year for the Bengals. Defense is horrible, giving up a bunch of yards, a bunch of touchdowns, a bunch of points. Offense not able to get it done. Number 30, C. Rogers, Detroit Lions, falling 10 spots, hitting the quicksand. As Gizmo says, too much to fix on this team. Quarterback sputtering, lifeless defense, and running game non-existent. I think only the Chargers have more single-digit point losses here. But Detroit Lions taking the biggest fall here of the week, dropping 10 spots. Jeez. Number 29, the Arizona Cardinals, staying in the same spot. Gizmo says Murray has done things, but with a lack of running and cruddy defense, it doesn't help. As you can see, most of the teams in the bottom half, we are going to be talking about how horrible their defense is and how they waste opportunities. Getting in the red zone, getting field goals, not going to help your team win. Number 28, the second biggest drop of the week is the Jacksonville Jaguars. Gizmo says the team has dropped 5 straight games. No Minshew magic. They have fizzled. Energy early in the season is gone. They got rid of Jalen Ramsey and just haven't been playing well since. I think this team is seeing the writing on the wall here as they had so much promise that first game. Even when Minshew came in, like, they were still 500. They end up 9-7, 10-6. They might have had a chance, but not going to happen this year. Number 27, the Washington Redskins, up 1 spot. Gizmo says officially eliminated from the playoffs with loss, but they are fighting hard defensively for the upsets here. Redskins technically can make it, but probably not going to happen. Officially eliminated from the playoffs. They are having a rough year. Got to figure out what they're doing. I think they're doing the right thing by playing Haskins and keeping him in there as he needs that experience. Number 26, the Miami Dolphins, also moving up 1 spot. Gizmo says after a big win a week ago, could not find the end zone once. Field goal explosion of 7. You're not going to win just kicking field goals. We've said this over and over again. It is true for every team. Number 25, one of the biggest jumps going up. Not the biggest, not the second biggest, but it's one of the biggest jumps going up 5 spots are the Atlanta Falcons. Gizmo says this team shows up out of nowhere and then vanishes. Hard team to rank or comment on. Yeah, they're all over the place. Some weeks they look, and it's not just against like horrible teams that they look good. They look good against good teams and can't beat the teams that they're supposed to beat. Next up is the Tampa Bay Bucks at 24, down 1 spot. Gizmo says Winston has had turnovers and a ton of monster plays. Time to evaluate his time with the Bucks. I thought he should have been gone last year. Coming into this year, I think Bruce Arians took a chance on him, and he should not have. He should have just came in with his regime and cleaned house, even at quarterback. Winston's horrible. He's leading the league in interceptions, does not make good decisions, and this team has suffered for it. Next spot is the Spidey's New York Jets at 23, up 3 spots. Gizmo says another up and down team, more than likely a losing streak coming up with the Ravens and the Steelers. This team does not have an easy schedule coming up. Ravens are cruising. Steelers are looking to get their playoff spot going on. It all rides on Darnold. When Darnold looks awesome, this team is great. They already have the best defense. They need to step it up with the offense as well. Next up is the 22 Los Angeles Chargers, down 1 spot. Gizmo says, just like before with this team, a little too late for a playoff run. Coach Lynn should be safe. Every year it's the same thing with the Chargers. They get that late season push. They look good, threaten to make the playoffs, and it saves Phillip Rivers' job and the coach's job. But this team is another one, so much potential, and then just come up short at the end of the season. Every year it's the same thing. Number 21, the Carolina Panthers, down 3 spots. Gizmo says, no new life after Rivera. Panthers got pounded by the Falcons. Team seems more confused than ever. The problems were bigger than Ron Rivera. They just needed a scapegoat, I believe, as he's been insistent on Cam being the guy, and I think they're ready to move on from him. They're just going to clean house. Cam Newton and Ron Rivera, don't expect to see both of them. Number 20, the Philadelphia Eagles, down 1 spot. Gizmo says the way the Cowboys are playing, the Eagles can still take the division by playing well these last few games. They need to win out. Eagles need to win out if they want to have a shot. And that's the only way it's going to get done. Giants fell apart and gifted them a win. But it's the Giants. They need to beat some teams. Luckily, they get the Giants 2 times last week and a couple weeks from now to give them a shot. Number 19, the Oakland Raiders, down 3 spots. Gizmo says season is being flushed away with Carr's poor play, players getting hurt, and defense falling apart. It's not all Carr's fault, but he does take some of the blame on this. But this team was not going to be very good this year anyway, as they have a lot of rookies on that team. They need some of those leaders to step up and bring this team together. Number 18, the second biggest mover this week, going upwards, the Cleveland Browns, up 6 spots to number 18. Gizmo says, found a way to win, but not without controversy between Mayfield and Beckham. Very disappointing. Beckham can't seem to get along with anybody. Winning helps, but just look at the Steelers and Antonio Brown. When they were winning and going good, everybody was happy, but as soon as that stopped happening, and that's with every team, so Beckham needs to get over it or move on. Number 17, Dallas Cowboys, down 3 spots. Gizmo says offense is not clicking on all cylinders and the defense is falling apart. Will Garrett be let go after the season? This has been a long time coming. He should have been let go a while ago. That defense was the only thing that was keeping them in these games, and if they are not getting it done, they are not able to put up the points lately to keep them in these games. So it's going to come down between them and the Eagles. Are we going to have another 7-9 team win the division? We'll see. Top half of the league time, we are moving up to number 16. The Denver Broncos, the highest movers in this week, moving upwards 9 spots. Gizmo says Drew Lock has given the team a spark it's been missing. 3 games left to prove he's a franchise quarterback. You drafted Drew Lock. I don't know why you went after Flacco. You might as well just started this kid from the beginning. I get it, he was hurt a little bit, but Wasted a bunch of money on Flacco getting hurt too, so might as well just giving this kid a shot from the beginning. Would have saved yourself about, what, $10 million in payroll? Number 15, moving on up, the Indianapolis Colts staying in the same spot. Gizmo says, team is up and down, offense rolls, defense stinks, defense rolls, and then the offense stinks. They just can't seem to get it together. Hopefully, right before these playoffs, they'll be able to do it, as I don't think any team wants to face these guys in the playoffs right now. Number 14, Curtis Elliott's Bears moving up 3 spots. Gizmo says Trubisky is back, running and passing with more confidence. This is what the fans were waiting for. Trubisky is still getting over that shoulder injury, so I'm sure it's been affecting his play. He's been wishy-washy even when he was 100% healthy. So, seeing him play good, he has the ability to be clutch. That defense is going to keep him in games. It's like his North Carolina days. Rely on the defense, score points when you can, and hope that defense can create turnovers and put you in good positions. Speaking of good defenses, number 13, the Houston Texans falling 4 spots. Gizmo says the defense has major issues, which Watson could not cover up with this play. Embarrassing loss. After pounding on the Patriots the week before, Texans get routed. This team, if it's another one that's going to rely on that defense. If they can't create turnovers, they can't put Houston in good positions, they're not going to fare well in the playoffs. Number 12, Pittsburgh Steelers. Andy Ann and my wife up 1 spot. Gizmo says Hodges is the right choice with his fearless antics in getting the ball to his receivers and tough play. I agree. I thought they should have played Hodges over Mason Rudolph a few weeks ago, even before the Whack-A-Mole game. So hopefully he can keep it going. He's doesn't turn the ball over very often, puts the ball in good spots to not get his receivers hurt. So far I'm liking his play. Number 11, the Los Angeles Rams staying in the same spot. Gizmo says they stayed alive in the wild card race with their power running and defense coming up at the right time. This team is getting back to what made it great. When you just rely on Jared Goff, he has not looked that great, but you mix it in with the running game and Gurley looking good. Ever since Gurley's knee problems, this team has not looked the same, and it has showed. So hopefully they can get back to form. And we are now in the top 10, folks. Top 10 of the league. Number 10, the Tennessee Titans moving up 2 spots. Gizmo says they pounded the Raiders with the running game, and Tannehill's downfield throwing and aggressive play helped them out. Tannehill has given this team a spark, so hopefully they can keep it going as they push towards the playoffs. Number 9, the Buffalo Bills up 1 spot. Gizmo says tough game against the Ravens. Defense stood tall, but Josh Allen was just outmatched. Andy N has predicted that Antonio Brown will go to, I believe he said the Cowboys, but I'm thinking he will go to this team right here, the Buffalo Bills, as I think next season Brown will want to not only stay in the AFC to get revenge on the Steelers, but play the Patriots twice a year and propel this Buffalo Bills team to that next level. They're going to see that they need that wide receiver, that number 1, to take the double teams, to free up the other guys. And that's my prediction for next year. Antonio Brown signing with the Buffalo Bills and propelling them to the divisional lead. Number 8, speaking of which, the New England Patriots down 1 spot. Gizmo says second loss in a row. Offense is definitely sputtering. Still have time to figure out what's going on. Like, all the fans are panicking, but really they're still 10-3. Like, this is still a fantastic team. 10-3 is an enviable spot for any team in the lower half. So, while it's panic time for the fans, I think they just keep doing what they're doing, and they're going to have to hope for a good playoff run here and their defense stepping up at the right time. Number 7, the Minnesota Vikings down 2 spots. Gizmo says, easy game against the Lions. Offense rolling along while the defense is healing up and in time. It is very true. They are getting healthy at the right time. Dalvin Cook could secure the ball a little more, as teams are just trying to rip it right out of his hands, and it's been working. This team relies on his running to set up the play action. We've been saying this all year long. Without that, they are going to struggle. Number 6, the Seattle Seahawks down 2 spots. Gizmo says, no magic for Wilson in this game against the Rams. Gurley ran over their defense. Showed an interesting hole in the Seahawks defense here, as Gurley was able to do it. Will other teams be able to match it? That's the question. Number 5, the Kansas City Chiefs up 3 spots. Gizmo says Chiefs are back in the race by beating the Pats and the Ravens earlier in the season. Chiefs never went anywhere. They were just getting healthy. Tyreek Hill was hurt. Patrick Mahomes had his injury. I think they're getting healthy and coming into postseason form here. Number 4, top 4, final 4, Green Bay Packers up 2 spots. Gizmo says Rodgers and Jones are keeping the offense rolling, but it's the defense that is solid overall. This is another team like the Bears and the Texans, where when their defense is on it and they are creating turnovers, getting pressure on the quarterback, they are going to be tough for anyone to handle in the playoffs. They come up against an offensive line that can hold those guys, they're going to be in trouble. Number 3, the New Orleans Saints staying in the same spot, top 3 time, baby. Gizmo says defense is starting to spring some leaks, depending more on Breeze passing than the run game. Sometimes that's what's going to happen. Teams are going to focus on either stopping the run with Alvin Kamara or stopping the pass by triple teaming Michael Thomas. Sometimes it's going to work that way, sometimes it's not. Their defense has been solid all year. They need to keep it that way if they want to make a deep run in the playoffs this year. Breeze still looks like that thumb is bothering him, but he's pushing through. Final 2, who's it going to be? Number 2, San Francisco 49ers staying in the same spot. Gizmo says another dominant team took down Breeze and the Saints, an NFC powerhouse, the team to beat in the NFC. A lot of people thinking it's going to come down to the Saints and the 49ers. It could be true. It could be possible. Great game between the 49ers and the Ravens the other week. Could be a Super Bowl preview. Number 1, staying in the same spot, LaMarvelous and the Baltimore Ravens. Lambjack has a spectacular offense, says Gizmo, and their defensive resurgence is dominating the AFC Super Bowl bound. Gizmo's calling it Ravens in the Super Bowl. I know Isaac Z is loving that. We'll see as if they play the way they did in the beginning of the season and the way they did at the end of the season, they are going to be tough to beat. If they play like how they did weeks 3, 4, and 5, it might be an early exit for them. Teams are going to definitely be looking at the games that the Ravens lost this year and trying to focus in on how to replicate that in the playoffs. You get in the playoffs, you're not just like the wild card weekend, like you might be a chump team that got in on a lucky break and you might get a lucky win, but starting with the divisional and the conference games, you're definitely in there because you are a good team. So we'll see how all these top 10 teams fare in the playoffs. That is the NFL Power Rankings heading into Week 15. Hope you enjoyed, folks. Let us know how you think we're doing. Gizmo works hard on these things, so give him some love. Drop a comment. Give it a like. Subscribe if you haven't. And we will see you guys again later. Have a great night and stay safe.